Alright, so, I'm going to be doing a review of Void Rivals Volume 2, Hunted Across the Wasteland. This is part of the Energon verse, and honestly, I don't think people, this is written by Robert Kirkman with artwork by Lorenzo Di Felici. I don't think a lot of people are talking about Void Rivals. I mean, yes, the Energon universe with G.I. Joe and Transformers has been nothing short of a smash hit, but no one seems to be talking about this one, and it's kind of important. It's basically what kicked off the Energon universe in the first volume. Void Rivals is part of that continuity and is dealing with all the cosmic stuff right now, while giving some original stuff, some original characters. For reference as to what we're talking about here, basically the story is that we have the Zetornians and the Argonians. I know I'm butchering those names, but it's two rival races. But after two pilots encounter one another and seeing a Jetfire, who we do know what happens to him in Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers, what happens next is that the two of them discover that there is a unity coming, and both of their races, who have been at war for centuries, are now dedicated to stopping them no matter the cost. We don't know what the Day of Unity is, but it is kind of leading to something I think will be massive, and I think we can figure out who it is at this point, but I'll get to that. But basically, that's the back door. There's a lot of spinning plates that Kirkman is doing that is slowly coming to the light. In the first volume, I talked about how in Volume 1, there really wasn't much connection to a lot of the Transformer stuff. In fact, we really had Jetfire, the Skuxoid, who does play a part in here, and we also had some Quintessons here and there, and maybe one other Autobot. But that was really it. And again, that's just Robert Kirkman's writing, where a lot of the major stuff is kind of in the back burner and slowly makes its appearance in the later books. So here it kind of picks up a little more. What has happened is that Derek and Salaya, I forgot her name for a second, they had to escape into the wastelands of the planet, and they encounter Springer, the Autobot triple changer, and their respective races, one of whom is the Prime Minister is Derek's father, is one of the enemies. They unleash a hunter named Proximus, who does have some ties to Salaya. I'm going to say right now it's probably her brother. They kind of mention her having a brother that kind of failed, and then she gets all freaked out seeing Proximus again. So I'm like, that's the brother, isn't it? Anyway, so I gotta say, if you are not reading Void Rivals, you're kind of going to need it, because it's going to be apparently important in the coming issues, if they aren't out already. I also have to give credit, and I didn't talk about this before, is that the Energon universe is also really good at, writing these comics and not doing them they are ongoing, but they do stop. There are breaks to allow the other writers to take over and write their story arc. That gives a lot of time for Joshua Williamson, who's just fucking, doing everything at DC right now, and Daniel Warren Johnson, who sadly his Transformers run is going to come to an end at issue 24. But I do think they're going to get someone else to do that comic soon, I imagine. And I was hoping, because he said, I wanted, Warren Johnson even said, I wanted to do 50 issues, but I just couldn't have it in me. So his run is ending at issue 24. I imagine issue 25, they'll probably take another break after the end of issue 24, and then find someone else for issue 25. That's my thought process. Who they could get, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to see, maybe poach from, Matt Frank. Matt Frank for artwork. I don't know if you could. That would be delayed a lot because he's so meticulous with his artwork. But I'd love to see him do artwork on a Transformers image book. But that's neither here nor there. Getting back to this, like I was saying, this deals with all the cosmic stuff within the Energon universe and is the building blocks for something bigger. This also, Volume 2 really does feel like the start of Phase 2. And that's what I'd like to think, because again, like I said, these comics are done brilliantly of doing story arcs and then ending to allow the other writer to take over, rather than write them in succession all at once so you're confused and have to pick up every book. So I do like these little breaks they're doing. It almost feels like when these books come out, it's almost like phases in a Marvel movie, in an MCU movie. Only it's like Transformers and G.I. Joe, and it's awesome. Not to say I don't like the MCU, but like it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. So like I said, this volume brings more to the mystery of what's going on, because the planet that the Argonians and the Zetonians live on. It's a big ring around a black hole, and there's something in there that the leaders of the two races are, trying to prevent from coming out, and it's called Goliant, from what we understand. That thing is what we see at the end of the book. That thing is probably Unicron. That I am more than convinced now it's Unicron and that little void they're protecting. We also learn more about the races, that they are synthetic and feed on energon. So that leads to more interest, and the god the Zetonians worship, Zetra, is actually known as Zetra Trion. So yeah, apparently Zetra Trion was the leader who who broke the control of the Quintessons ages ago. This comic does definitely, Robert Kirkman really knows how to spin plates in these books and keep you interested. The Quintessons are doing their own thing. We get Springer now, part of the main cast. Hot Rod is now on the search for, something. And the Skuckzoid, who you think is going to be a one-off character, he's now actually got some character depth to him. He's not some, bounty hunter, or just some dumb bounty hunter. He's actually got some depth, and you actually feel sorry for him in this book. And what I like is that, and what I'm kind of picking up on, I have this sneaking suspicion Robert Kirkman was a big fan of Gen 2 Autobot, of Gen 2 Transformers, because, he's using Hot Rod, Springer, the Skuckzoid, other characters that were clearly showcased in post-Transformers the movie continuity. So I just have this weird feeling that he's really doing that. So I'm convinced he was probably a big fan, or that's just part of his plan. And I gotta say, I do like it does make me like this Energon universe is getting me cool on the idea of them using Cobra La. And apparently Pythona is going to play a big role with Hot Rod in Void Rivals Volume 3. This comic continues to be awesome. It breathes new life and is doing a lot of backdoor building blocks for both the Transformers and G.I. Joe comics. If you're not reading this, you are doing yourself a disservice in the Energon universe. It's a cool original story that is caked and tied into G.I. Joe and Transformer lore. And again, when we get to Volume 3, that's going to be the big kickoff point for the next storyline. Chris is sending me both Transformers and G.I. Joe books, so yeah. And this is the start of what I'd consider the start of Phase 2, basically, for the universe. So we're going to see what happens next from here on out, and I can't wait to see it. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this? If you've read it, what did you guys think of this new volume of Void Rivals? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.